importantly, a lot of stuff was being built, right? So you had major financial institutions building away at trying to create institutional investment platforms like BlackRock and Fidelity and others. You had very significant investments continuing in the actual infrastructure side of this.
기관 투자 플랫폼과 인프라 구축을 위해 크립토 시장에 상당한 투자가 지속되고 있다고 말하고 있는 인물은 USDC 발행사 서클의 CEO인 제레미 알레어입니다. USDC 서클의 배후에는 블랙록과 코인베이스가 있고 가상자산 시장의 가장 큰 세력 중 하나라고 볼 수 있는 만큼 서클의 CEO 제레미 알레어도 향후 전반적인 시장 구축에 아주 큰 영향력을 행사할 인물 중 하나라고 생각됩니다. 그런 그가 생각하는 향후 크립토 시장의 미래와 방향성에 대한 자세한 인사이트에 대해서 함께 들어보도록 하겠습니다.
Joining us right now to discuss the crypto market, the state of regulation, importantly, is Circle CEO Jeremy Allaire. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Okay, so where are we in the? We had crypto winter. Now it's winter time, and it may be like crypto summer.
Yeah.
I think we're all trying to just understand what's actually happening. How much of this is being driven by the Fed? How much is it ETF possibilities for Bitcoin and the like, or just something else completely? And I know your business, we should say, which is a stable coin, is very, very different in some ways than all these other things, but it's all interrelated.
It is all interrelated, and getting the seasons right is obviously one of the biggest challenges that we have. But in all seriousness, I think as I've talked about, here on the show as well, even in the depths of challenges last year, as you had, high-profile exchange collapses, regulatory enforcement actions, a lot of people freaking out. Importantly, a lot of stuff was being built, right? So you had major financial institutions building away at trying to create institutional investment platforms like BlackRock and Fidelity and others. You had very significant investments continuing in the actual infrastructure side of this. So it's sort of like after the dot-com bust, you had 2002, no one wanted to invest in internet companies or e-commerce, but broadband was getting lit up, mobile devices were getting lit up, all the infrastructure was getting there, so that actually the technology became highly usable and useful. And so I think a number of things are happening right now. We're seeing rapid technology maturation. You're seeing that with this huge rally in Solana, which, if you're not familiar, is sort of makes using blockchains fast and relatively easy. You have this institutionalization and the clarity that comes from that. And I think all of those things are combining.
You said the clarity piece. I think there's less. The clarity piece doesn't seem so clear still. Where are we on the regulatory clarity piece? We have so many people come on and say, just spent time in Washington. It feels like the SEC is shifting. We've reached escape velocity. They're going to have to deal with us now. What is your real take?
So a couple things. The first is global versus U.S. In every major financial market center around the world, they're actually putting in place clear regulations on digital assets and stablecoins. So Hong Kong, Singapore, Japan, the UK, the EU, UAE, like you go to these places and they actually are doing it. And so the U.S. is behind. I think that's one. In the U.S., you've got really three big bodies of policy issues. You have markets and how to regulate markets, and there you've got a territorial turf war going on. And some kind of political posturing. And then you've got stablecoins. Everyone seems to agree about stablecoins. It's just a matter of when, not if. And then you have this sort of illicit finance stuff, which has become obviously...
That's what Elizabeth Warren
Warren, a very bipartisan kind of issue there. And those are the three big policy kind of components. Now, with respect to markets, which is, I think, that the thing that attracts the most attention, there is a fundamental disagreement between one particular agency and some of the other agencies and Congress.
The SEC and the CFTC. And I ask because we've got Russ Benham coming on.
The SEC, the CFTC, and then obviously Congress and the courts. And the beauty of the U.S. system is we have all three branches, and they're all kind of trying to figure out how to work that out.
To the extent that we should be looking at Bitcoin as a barometer of risk on, risk off, if you think of it as a speculative asset, I don't know what you think of it as anymore, but we show it on the screen every single day because there's a lot of ownership of it around the world. There's a lot of interest in it around the world. What do you think it's an indicator of?
Sure. So a couple things. So the first is digital commodities are here to stay. And that's just, we have this new thing, digital commodities, they're here to stay. And they will be valued differently. Gold is differently valued than oil, is differently valued than copper, right? So there will be these digital commodities. Bitcoin specifically is the sort of largest digital commodity asset. Right. And I think in the minds of many of the people who are investing in it, this is a risk hedge asset. Mm-hmm. It can be correlated to availability of money supply, but it also can be uncorrelated. So it doesn't fit every box clearly. And I think you're hearing from sovereigns, from the Ray Dalios of the world, the Larry Finks of the world, others, that they believe that in a complex geopolitical environment, a complex macroeconomic environment, this is an asset that one should have some exposure.
But we should not think of it as a currency.
I
mean, by the way, you're more in the currency camp in terms of what you do.
Correct, yes. So digital dollars that can be a strong store of value medium of exchange that have all the powers of the internet. That's what dollar stablecoins do. Huge innovation. I expect to be explosive in terms of its growth in the coming years. Just a huge utility for dollars on the internet, huge appetite for dollars on the internet. That's a very big thing. And that's distinct from people who want a currency hedge, so to speak, or a store of value hedge against the world going to